Hey guys, so today I'm feeling a little under the weather and didn't want to go a week without uploading a new video. So I've decided to record some audio at home and play it over a recent walk I did through one of my favourite areas of the city, Patriarch Ponds. Today I'd like to talk about myths about Russia. Many foreigners from my own country and from other countries often speak about certain perceptions they have about the Russian Federation, and I'd like to address 8 of them today in this video. The first myth I always hear is that it's always cold in Russia. This is of course not true. Russia is a country with a diverse climate and has a full range of temperatures throughout the year. For example, in Moscow in January, the average temperature is -6 degrees, but the average temperature in Sochi is +6 degrees and in Novosibirsk -16 degrees. There's a lot of variation. In summer there's also a wide range of temperatures, but it's generally quite nice. The average Moscow temperature in July is 19 degrees and many southern parts of Russia are constantly above 20. The second is related, and this is also not true, and that is that Russians can cope really well in the cold. One thing that struck me here in Russia is just how much clothing people wear from the autumn through to spring. People strip off during the summer and then put on warm clothes in October and don't take them off all the way until May. Many people here are really well prepared. If I compare this to England, if it was 5 degrees outside, most people wouldn't wear a super heavy coat, but sometimes you see that here. Even sometimes in the UK, people will go to a club at night when it's about 0 degrees in just a dress with no coat, and they'll be completely fine, whereas in Russia, everyone would think you're mad. Stereotype number 3, Russians love vodka. I would say this is neither true nor false. Vodka is very popular in poorer areas because you can get drunk for almost nothing. But for the most part, alcohol consumption here is very similar to that in the UK. People like to drink beer, cocktails and other spirits just as much as they like to drink vodka. In fact, one thing I noticed being a student in London and then being a student in St. Petersburg, British students definitely drink more than Russian students. In fact, heavy drinking in Russia has really become less and less popular for younger generations as it's becoming cooler to be really healthy rather than really drunk. It's the same with cigarettes. Number 4, Russia is a dangerous country. I have to say this is definitely not true. I feel a lot safer here than I do in almost any other big city. Like in other places, if you go looking for trouble, you can definitely find it, but for the most part, Russia is a very safe place to live. Russia also has a very high amount of policemen per capita. This can cause many other problems, but one thing it does help stop is street crime and petty crime. Number 5. Russia is a communist country. This is complete nonsense. Russia is one of the most capitalist countries in the world, with one of the biggest gaps between the rich and the poor. Russia is a capitalist country much closer to an oligarchy than communism. Anyone who says Russia is communist is either telling lies or off their rocker. Even the Communist Party of the Russian Federation, which has 1/10 of seats in the Russian parliament and 3 state governors, is not a communist party. Its 2018 election candidate, Pavel Grudinin, is a millionaire with a fancy villa in Spain and owns a huge joint stock company. Karl Marx would be turning in his grave. Number 6. Russia is a white country. This is false. Russia is a country which spreads from the Baltic Sea to the Pacific Ocean. It's impossible that everyone in this space could be white. There's a huge range of races, ethnic groups and cultures and languages. About 80% of Russia is white European, with the rest mainly being Turkic, like from Tatarstan or Bashkir. Caucasian, that means they're from Chechnya, Armenia or Georgia, or from the Far East. Russia also has a lot of immigration from the Caucasus and Central Asia. If you went to the far east of Russia, you'd see people who looked Korean or Chinese. Russia is definitely not some white ethno-state. Number 7. Russia is a poor country, and I would say this is partially true. As a country, in terms of GDP, Russia is certainly not poor, being richer than the likes of Spain, Australia, and Mexico. Russia also has a ton of millionaires. However, Russia has one of the greatest income inequalities in the world. There are millions of poor people living well below the poverty line. It's an incredibly unequal economy. Since the start of the 2000s, the quality of life here has dramatically increased for the majority of Russians, but there's still a long way to go until the wage of the average person here comes close to that of the wage in Western Europe, and unfortunately millions will be living in poverty for many years to come. Number 8, the most common stereotype I hear about Russia is that Russia is full of beautiful women, and well, I'll let you be the judge of that one. Guys, thank you very much for listening to me today. I hope you enjoyed the video of the walk around Patriarch Ponds, one of my favourite areas of the city, and I hope you found my speaking quite interesting and informative. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have a comment, whether it be agreement or disagreement, please write it below in the comments box. And if you'd like to see and hear more videos about Moscow, about Russia in general, and about my life here, please subscribe. Thank you and goodbye.